less than 10 years ago, the country that we're in right now used to be one of the most closed off and difficult to access in the world. But so much has changed in 10 years, and now this is one of the easiest to get into and easiest to travel around in the former Soviet Union. This is actually our 5th time here, I think, in the past 5 years, and today we're going to show you around the capital of this country, give you a taster of what it's like, and explain why, in our opinion, it's one of the most underrated, beautiful, tasty and incredible countries on earth. Welcome to Uzbekistan, the world's only doubly landlocked country and home to nearly 40 million people. Once the heart of the Silk Road and the centre of scientific and mathematical study, Uzbekistan's global prominence waned after the decline of the Silk Road. It became a battleground during the Great Game between the Russian and the British empires, eventually joining the Russian Empire and later the Soviet Union. After gaining independence in the 1990s, Uzbekistan remained one of the most closed-off countries in the former Soviet Union, with a notoriously difficult visa policy for outsiders. However, since 2019, it's opened its doors to over 80 nationalities, inviting the world to discover its rich history, stunning architecture, vibrant culture, incredible food, and very welcoming people. You know, it's changed so much, and I think one of the things that keeps coming back to Uzbekistan is just the unique atmosphere that there is here. People in Uzbekistan are some of the most friendliest in the world. The cuisine is one of the most incredible in the former USSR, so varied, so many influences from different parts of the Silk Road, and just the changes that are happening in this country. Every time we come back to Tashkent, there's different cafes opening up, different parts of the city that are being regenerated. It's really, really interesting, and just love it so much.
Здравствуйте.
Здравствуйте.
Наличкой можно заплатить? Хорошо. Можно, пожалуйста, горный чай? Да.
И обычный латте. Спасибо.
Сахаром, без?
Без. It's so cute.
So the time is 3 o'clock, which means it's obviously lunchtime. And what else are we going to eat on one of our first days back in Uzbekistan? When I say one of the first days, it's our 3rd day, and this will be our 3rd time eating this. But what else are we going to eat than plov? So we're going to one of our favourite places here in Tashkent, the Central Asian Plov Centre or Pilaf Centre, and we're going to take the metro. And the metro here in Tashkent is like a site in its own, to be honest. It's like a museum. Every station, as with a lot of former Soviet countries' metros, it's like a museum. And we're going down into Cosmonautlar, or Cosmonaut Station, and we'll show you around in there. It's really, really beautiful, incredible. То есть 2 билета до Plov Center. Спасибо. Спасибо.
This station is Cosmonautlar, which is built in honor of Soviet astronauts, and behind us right there is Alexei Leonov, who is the first person ever to do a spacewalk, and he's actually from Kemerovo.
So interesting fact about metros here in the former USSR. During the Soviet times, every city that had a population of 1 million would get one metro line unofficially, and then so if you had 2 million, you'd have 2 metro lines. Tashkent actually has a population now of 3 million, but it has 4 metro lines. I'm not sure if some have been built after the USSR. But yeah, it's got 4 metro lines.
And it is like a museum, it's so quiet here. I almost feel awkward to talk. It's so quiet.
Especially after China, where everything's loud. This was the first metro system to be built in Central Asia, and is still by far the biggest. I think there's one in Almaty as well. There's not one in Bishkek, and I'm not sure about Dushanbe because we haven't been there yet. But yeah, Tashkent is by far the biggest and the one with the most lines. I wanted to show you this. It's the first time we've actually seen this from Tashkent. You can see the mountains here in the distance. Usually we come a different time of year, and I guess it's a little bit more hazy at that point. But yeah, who knew? You can see the mountains of the Tian Shan mountain range from here in the city centre. Now let's go eat. If you've watched our channel for a little while, you'll know that this is a place we love. And when we were in Uzbekistan previously, every time we were in Uzbekistan previously, we've come here. And in 2021, the first year we started doing YouTube, we actually filmed a video here about like a day in the life of the guys that are working, that get up really early in the morning to start cooking plov and continue right up until the evening. So if you haven't seen that, we'll link it up here, check it out. And now let's go eat.
Like we were here yesterday, huh?
It's because we were.
True.
Hungry?
I'm so hungry. It's interesting to see how much this place has changed over the last 3 years. They've expanded so much. And I remember 3 years ago, they used to be open till like afternoon, 12 maybe, or 3. But now they're working 24 hours a day. Wow, let's go eat.
Let's go eat.
Здравствуйте. Можно, пожалуйста, 2 свадебных плова, комплект газы и один с комплектом, один нет. Чай, компот, пивко.
Зеленый чай, да?
Чай зеленый. Все?
Вроде да. Пока да.
Спасибо большое.
So Uzbek food is very popular throughout post-Soviet Union countries. Even if you weren't born in Uzbekistan, you will know the food very well. Even from what's considered a small Siberian city where I'm from, there are loads of cafes and restaurants with Uzbek cuisine. And it's one of the best.
Also, it's incredibly varied, and we spoke about this before when we filmed Uzbekistan, that the influence of the Silk Road is really, really interesting here in this part of the world. You have dishes like lagman that are noodle dishes. And lagman is very different to plov that we're ordering now, which is a rice dish. It's more similar to perhaps Middle Eastern cuisine. You also have what we call lipyashka, or like bread in Russian, but in Uzbek they're called non, which is the same or similar to the word naan that we know from Indian cuisine. And yeah, it's really fascinating. This place was the heart of the Silk Road, the very center of everything going from east to west and west to east, and the food is reflected in that. Really, really fascinating. the moment has come.
So I ordered just plov. This kind of plov is called svadibny, and I ordered the full complement with eggs. I think it's quail eggs, kazi, which is
Horse sausage.
that's the one.
Horse is very popular in
And
this
what
part
else
of the
do you
world.
have there?
There's also horse sausage, quail eggs, one dolma, and then the meat on top, and then of course, yeah, the plov itself, which is rice, chickpeas, carrots, all fried in oil. There's raisins in here, right? It's just like the perfect mouth-watering combination of sweet, savoury, meaty. Oh,
It's gonna be good.
do you want an egg? Sure.
Now we're full and thinking straight, I wanted to tell you that last year we ran our very first group tour to Uzbekistan. And this year, I mean 2025, we are back to Uzbekistan.
The tour in April 2024 was absolutely incredible and we loved it so much. We had such a good time with everyone. And if you want to be a part of next year's tour and you want to explore the city of Tashkent and everything it has to offer, as well as Samarkand, the jewel of the Silk Road, Bukhara, the centre of science and mathematics for so many years, and then heading very west for a yurt stay, find out about the real nomad lifestyle, and then finally to the city of Khiva, the beautiful Silk Road city of Khiva, and then back to Tashkent again and into the mountains. There's honestly so much we're going to be doing. If you want to be a part of it next year, then the link is down below in the description box with details on how you can sign up and join us here in Uzbekistan. Don't miss it. It's going to be incredible. I'm so excited.
The main thing. We're gonna be eating plov together.
And also we're actually going to have a cooking class.
Yeah.
Last year in Bukhara, we had an amazing evening with a cooking class. We all learned how to cook together and then we ate what we cooked. It was just incredible. Honestly, there's so much. Check it out. Go look in the description box. Find out what the tour's like
And join us.
Join us.
So now the sun's going down. This is the perfect time to head to a different part of Tashkent, the modern part of Tashkent, which perhaps you might not expect to see here. But as the sun goes down and the lights come on, it's a beautiful place to walk around.
So we're going to be getting there by ordering a taxi through the local taxi app, which is Yandex, and let's see how much it costs. Tashkent City Mall. It's a 19-minute ride and 26,000 som.
Every
3
time
minutes away.
you hear the price in thousands, you're like, oh my god.
So the money here is something that takes some getting used to. It's all in thousands and really big digits. So we drew out $20 earlier, I think, and it was 300,000 Uzbek som. So yeah, if you draw out about $100, you're a millionaire. What? Okay, taxi's 2 minutes away.
And also this is something we got really used to in China, paying for everything with your phone. And we forgot actually how to use a card. Here in Uzbekistan you can pay for most things with card, but actually here they have QR codes, and I think in Russia they do, and Kazakhstan. But to use the QR code you need to have a local bank, local account. We don't have, so we can't use it, so we need to use cash. That's why we're drawing cash out. We tried to buy coffee and tea earlier in the park and we just couldn't, so we're just running around finding the cash point.
Literally, like I say, after 3 months in China, you almost forget that cash exists. Everything's Alipay, scan this,
Yeah.
scan that, scan this. And yeah, now it's back to cash and tapping your card.
Also, a funny thing is here in Uzbekistan, what they do, when you pay for something with your card, you give your card away, they put it in the machine, and then they ask you, what's the code? So it's a normal thing. So everything is so trusty. Everyone's like, so what's your code? And we forgot about it. Like every time we come back, we forget about it.
Yeah.
They get freaked out. They're like,
They must think we're really weird, a lot of people, because I'm always like,
I'll put it
pass me
myself.
the machine,
Yeah. I'll put it
over,
myself.
and I'll do it, yeah. And they're like, okay.
Like, why would you want to do that?
Why?
Да, я с другой стороны могла залезть. Ну ладно, спасибо. Здравствуйте.
Спасибо большое. До свидания.
Well, the sun's well and truly gone down now. And by the way, did you see that sunset from the taxi? That was absolutely gorgeous.
It was so beautiful.
Like, nowhere does sunsets like here in Central Asia, especially Uzbekistan. I think because it's the desert, it's just incredible. Last year in Khiva, I remember seeing the most beautiful sunset ever. I'll put the photo over the top now. But yeah, that was pretty close.
I'm just thinking, you said no one does sunset better. And I remember seeing all these pictures and videos from people who live in Bali.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, to be fair,
like
the sunset's pretty...
Asia.
Yeah, Uzbekistan!
It's gorgeous.
It was so beautiful, yeah, the way the clouds fell. And we are now in a place called Tashkent City. I mean, we've always been in Tashkent City, but this is a place called Tashkent City, a part of the city. And this is a modern area of the capital.
Yeah.
And here, yeah, you can see a totally different side to Uzbekistan. This is the new economy of Uzbekistan, booming all around us. The nighttime here is really, really lovely, lights everywhere. And soon, I don't know what time, like the fountains come on.
That's what I would say, yeah.
Yeah.
You can see all the Hilton hotels and Holiday Inns. There are nice, really pretty looking apartment buildings. And there is a massive mall right there. And you can find all kinds of shops in there, luxury brands and Zara's and all sorts of stuff. You can even buy a Porsche car. We just walked through it because we need to use the loo. There's all the Porsche cars there as well.
It's just like there's nowhere that's a testament to how much I think Uzbekistan's opened up over the past 10 years. Nowhere's more of a testament to that than this place here, is it?
I'd say
In
so.
Tashkent City. Uzbekistan is an incredibly interesting country and it's incredibly ethnically diverse. The country is home to Uzbeks, Russians, Tatars, ethnic Koreans, which we'll talk a little bit more about later, as well as lots of other nationalities. The main religion here in Uzbekistan is Islam, and we are starting the day, before we head to the market, at Hazrati Imam Complex, which is one of the most beautiful places here in the city, and also home to the oldest Quran on planet Earth. We're going to go in and take a look now. We can't take photos inside, and actually right next to us is a massive, what's going to be an Islamic cultural complex that's being built. And actually when we came to Uzbekistan 3 years ago in 2021, there was nothing there but a building site, and now it's almost finished. It is so grandiose, it's massive, and when it is completely finished, it's going to be so impressive. Overall, most of Tashkent doesn't actually look like this. Tashkent itself is a city that was built only around 50 years ago after an earthquake in this region, so it's very Soviet looking, but this area gives you a taster of what a lot of the rest of Uzbekistan is like, especially the great Silk Road cities of Samarkand and Bukhara. This Islamic architecture is everywhere in both of those cities, as well as Khiva. But right now we're going to head down the hill towards the very Soviet Chorsu market.
As Matt mentioned, the city is built in a very Soviet style. However, a lot of the local buildings have an Uzbek touch to them, with mosaics and beautiful designs on the side of them. As we are walking towards the market, I wanted to mention something quickly. Everything looks a lot more miserable than it actually is, because we're here in the end of November, and as it's known, it's not a secret, November is the worst month of the year. But as we all know, only the best people are born during a difficult time. My mommy told me.
I was born in June.
Well, that's second best people.
Oh, okay.
Can be both. Как говорится, сам себя не похвалишь. Никто не похвалит.
Никто не похвалит. Правильно.
There is a circus, by the way. This is actually the first time we are in Uzbekistan during that time of year. We usually come during the best time, or try to, in the early spring or early autumn. In the summer it's alright, however it gets very hot. Talking plus 50. So yeah, now it's definitely not the best time. But what I like about it, it's very nice and cool. Спасибо большое. smells amazing. Vinaigrette?
So welcome to Chorsu market, which is the biggest market here in Central Asia. There's all different sections, and the dome that we can see in front of us is the Pied de Resistance, or whatever it is, the main part of the market. And in there you can get all sorts of food. There's like a meat section, a salad section, and then around that dome is clothing, there's different jewelry areas, there's all sorts here, also food stalls. We're gonna have a walk around, and we're actually leaving in a few days, so maybe we'll buy ourselves some souvenirs from this time in Uzbekistan. We'll see what we can find.
Can we buy a carpet? I really want a carpet. We don't have a house, but I want a carpet.
Yeah, maybe we can just carry it around with us. Look at this place from above. Now we're going down into the melee.
Mongolian socks, I can see straight away.
Do you want them?
Good. I'll have some. But I can always do with more.
Oh, I was going to say. So we come straight into the clothing section, it seems, mainly shoes. So here in Tashkent there's two de facto languages of the city. So there's Uzbek, which is the state language, and then also Russian. And when you walk round, they're the two languages that you'll hear more often and see more often. Uzbek is written in the Latin script, and then Russian is written in the Cyrillic script. So yeah, if you hear people speaking to us, they'll be speaking to us in Russian.
Мы уже все посмотрели в Узбекистане, да?
Как у
Здравствуйте.
нас, понравился?
Мы уже 5-й или что раз, конечно, понравилось.
Дай бог здоровья.
Каждый раз, как уезжаем, мы хотим плов так сильно, что возвращаемся.
Дай бог здоровья. Приезжайте.
Спасибо
Дай бог здоровья.
большое.
Вам
До
тоже.
свидания, Рахмат. I'll be shopping here all the time if we lived here. Love it. I thought I could smell this.
So these are all different salads. You know, we said about the Korean population here in Tashkent. A lot of these are, like, this is called Korean carrot, right?
Yeah.
I don't think they have that in Korea, but in the Soviet Union, former Soviet countries, it's called Korean carrot, as well as vinaigrette. And then this, I'm guessing maybe this is also Korean, like kimchi almost?
Looks it, yeah. Uzbekistan is actually very famous for the dried fruit. And you can see a lot of it everywhere. And nuts. Delicious.
Здрасте. Considering the season, there's still a lot of fruit, isn't there?
I think it's still like apple season and lots of persimmon. I think it's still persimmon season still. This market is truly giant.
So we've been walking around the market for about 15 minutes, and I'm not going to lie, maybe this is news to you, Julia, but I'm lost. This is like our 5th time here, and I'm lost.
Husband?
I don't know. He's lost somewhere in Chorsu.
What I like about people here is that they don't pester you that much. And if they try and sell you something, you're like, nah, I'm good, actually, I don't want it. They'll try and offer you something else, they're like, nah, I'm alright. And then they will end up advising you somewhere to go, something to try, ask you how's your experience in Uzbekistan in general, and you almost become friends at the end as well.
This. Lovely.
Spices. Looks so colorful and smells so good. I thought we were heading inside, and we're still not there yet.
How many entries to the inside is, I guess, around here?
Let's check it out. Is the entrance? As you walk in, the smell of meat hits you straight away. This is the place. Oh wow. Kazı.
So we're currently inside the dome, which is the main part of the market here. And each area that we're seeing is sectioned. We're up on a balcony section at the moment where there's mainly nuts and sweet goods and souvenirs and stuff. Down below us is all of the like vegetables, and then also like sauerkrauts, pickles, that's the word. There's meat section over there, and then the dairy section. And I love markets like this. I love that this one as well is so well sectioned in that way. And by the way, about the dome that we're in, if you watched our video from Tashkent a few years ago, you would have heard about it. But this dome was built, obviously, to keep the market inside, which means it can keep going during the winter months. But the reason it was a dome, actually, during the really hot summers they have here in Tashkent, where it can get almost to 50 degrees, it keeps it cool. It keeps the cool air in here. And then also, conversely, during the winter, it keeps the warm air in. So the dome isn't just a very cool design, but it's also really, really useful.
I love being up here, almost invisible, and you can watch people getting on about their day, buying things and sorting stuff out. It's so colorful as well, especially with looking at all the pickles.
It's our favourite thing, isn't it? When you come to a market, just being able to people watch, or just any city anywhere, just
Not
people
in a creepy
watching.
way.
Not in a creepy way, I don't think, anyway.
Not trying to be. Что такое? А что это такое?
Миндаль.
Миндаль.
Вот,
Ого.
Вот, можно.
Можно попробовать?
Можно, брат? Вот,
Ого.
точно.
Спасибо большое.
Спасибо.
Ого.
Попробуй.
Очень вкусный миндаль.
Вот, брат.
О.
Да, хороший.
А это тоже миндаль?
Да, миндаль.
А.
Пистachio.
Фисташки
фисташки,
тоже.
да?
Мгм. Иранские?
О.
А миндаль откуда?
Узбекский.
Узбекский? А вы давно тут работаете?
6-7.
6-7 лет.
Да.
О.
Ого. Ого.
Это курага.
Ага.
Сколько стоит
Килограмм 75.
Килограмм 75.
килограмм? Хочешь курагу?
Я хочу курагу.
Да?
Но у нас нет
Давайте
75.
Давайте 500 грамм.
Можно
курагу.
500 грамм, пожалуйста, кураги, да. Can buy saffron here as well. Шафран. Ага.
Шафран. Да, это самаркандский, это Иран.
Самаркандский?
О.
Самаркандский, иранский.
А, это иранский, да? Да, saffron.
Курага большая какая у вас, красивая.
Да, хороший.
Красивая.
Для сердца полезно будет.
Для сердца полезно? Ну, хорошо.
О.
Я люблю в кашу добавлять с утра. Здорово.
Меня зовут Джамшид.
Спасибо вам
Джамшид?
большое.
Джамшид.
Спасибо.
Джамшид. Я Юля. Приятно. Приятно
Рахмат.
познакомиться. До свидания. До свидания. Oh, look at that tea.
I think it's quite funny that we came in for potentially a souvenir to take with us, and we got dried apricots.
I'm happy.
Yeah, me too. As souvenirs go, pretty good. Baba?
I feel like I'm drunk on all the smells.
It's interesting, isn't it, how every section that you go into, the smells change, right? When you get into the meat section, it's really, really strong, and then, yeah, the pickle section is the best, right? Amazing smells.
For sure.
And with that, we've come outside the dome and to the end of the market. I'm not really sure what's going on here. Rest.
Very good. I think I'm becoming Uzbek, that's what it is.
Do you reckon after a week back here, you're already
It's enough to turn me.
reforming?
Wait.
What is that? Здрасте.
Извините, это что за рыба?
Sazan.
Сазан?
Сазан.
Какой огромный. А где вы их ловите?
Из реки.
Из реки?
Здесь, возле Ташкента, да? Недалеко.
Yetmiş beş lira.
Вот это рыба.
Вот это да.
Рыба моей мечты.
15 килограммов.
Его
О.
поднять, наверное, нереально, что он такой огромный. Обалдеть! А вы давно тут работаете?
Да, за 30 лет.
30 лет? И всегда на такой рыбе? О, вы, наверное, всякой разной рыбы повидали.
Да.
Спасибо большое,
Да,
приятно
спасибо.
познакомиться.
Приятно познакомиться. До свидания.
Всего хорошего.
Можно одну самсу с картошкой, пожалуйста? Да, пожалуйста. Спасибо.
Спасибо большое. До свидания.
So this is somsa, which is eaten all over Uzbekistan. You may have heard of samosa if you're familiar with Indian cuisine. And again, this is something that's kind of passed along the Silk Road a lot. And yeah, here in Uzbekistan it's called somsa. I got it with potato, but you usually get it with different types of meat. And yeah, let's give it a try.
Show us the goods. Oh, steaming.
The pastry's really, really crunchy. And then on the inside, the potato's really soft and it's really well spiced. Amazing, lovely little snack. That cost 4,000 sum, which is about 25 pence or 40 cents US. Great street food.
If you're wondering why there is a large population of Koreans here in Uzbekistan, it's because after the Second World War, Stalin sent them here basically because around the area of Vladivostok there was a huge population of Koreans and he was quite afraid of them, that they might start a rebellion or they were very close to their homeland, influenced by the West. So that's what he did. He sent them across to Central Asia where they were made to assimilate. And hence why till this day there are lots of Koreans living around Central Asia. And I think actually in Uzbekistan there's the majority of Korean population here. And for most of them these days, their first language is not actually Korean, it's Russian.
Welcome to Amir Temur Square. Amir Temur, if you don't know, is one of the heroes of Uzbekistan, and this square is in the very, very centre of Tashkent. And actually, if you were to look at it on a map, you'll see that a lot of the roads actually descend in a straight line on this square. During the 60s, Tashkent was hit by a devastating earthquake, which meant the old city itself was pretty much completely flattened. And much of the city that we see today was built after the earthquake, and it was built as the model Soviet city at the time. Big wide avenues going right the way through the centre from one side to another, lots of parks, places to walk. As we showed you yesterday, there's a lot of changes, there's a lot of building work throughout the city and modern areas, but originally Tashkent was built as the model Soviet city. And it's fascinating to see how much it differs from the other cities here in Uzbekistan. Samarkand, Bukhara, Khiva, they've all got their own flavour and vibe. And that's what we love about this country. You can see so many eras of history depending on what city you go to and what part of the country you're in. So we're just walking through a park at the moment next to the presidential palace, which the first time we came to Uzbekistan was a lot more closed off than this. It's opened up a bit more. And along here is the memorial to the Second World War. And you can see it's been done really tastefully actually. These are all the names of the people from Uzbekistan that served in the Great Patriotic War. And every single name has a different region. And you can see all the names of the people that perished. So this is from Chorsu region. And look at all these names. And the dates, 1942, 1945.
Once again, from here in Tashkent, if you would like to join us next year, check out everything about the tours. And thanks for watching this video. See you in the next one.